Now, after Trump has done Lord knows how many outdoor rallies since 2015, often to powerful political effect, the Secret Service is reportedly telling him stop doing them. The Washington Post says that the Trump team is now scouting indoor venues, like basketball arenas, for future events. Well, that would obviously severely limit the former president's reach in certain parts of the country, and frankly, it's a kind of a gift to the Harris campaign. But whatever the case, this is a tacit admission by the Secret Service that they are unable to protect Donald Trump. Joining me now, Tim Miller, former Secret Service agent who served on President Bill Clinton's detail, and Florida Congresswoman Paulina Luna. Tim, now, given this lack of transparency now, 10 days after the assassination, even with Cheadle's resignation, are you surprised tonight that many Americans are wondering, is it that they can't protect him outside, or is there something else going on here?
Well, let me just say this. What happened Friday a week ago is every Secret Service agent's nightmare.
Saturday,
we clearly demonstrated, that we are missing some key components. And here's the reality, Laura. The Secret Service should be able to protect any protectee anywhere they go. But I do think that there have been systematic problems with Director Cheadle. You look not too long ago, how many 37 Secret Service agents at risk of their own jobs stepped forward and said, hey, we can't do the mission. So the Secret Service right now needs dynamic, powerful, focused leadership, because the bad news is there's so many great and sacrificial agents, men and women across this country, that are willing to do what you saw, cover their protectees, and make sure they're safe to have fair and free elections.
Well, we love everybody who puts their lives on the line. There's no doubt about that. But Congresswoman Luna, these rallies are big for Trump. And they're like 40 or 50,000 people when they get to their biggest, or sometimes even, I guess, larger. This is going to have an effect on the campaign,
certainly.
Perhaps.
Well, you know, when we were in hearing, we actually asked that question to Cheadle, and she said, you know, the Secret Service's job does not stop at the fence line for a rally. So, in my opinion, these excuses that they're making, what I will tell you is, knowing what I know from the investigation, Laura, I know for a fact that Secret Service did not show up at the Butler County EU, which is where they were coordinating with the other 40 sniper teams that were present at that previous rally. So, this was obviously a lapse in judgment for Secret Service, and I do believe that if they assign the proper details and also they do their jobs, he will continue to be able to do rallies outside. But again, this was just gross incompetence, and it is by the grace of God that Trump's alive, but we are glad that she stepped down.
Well, thank goodness. But back to you, Tim. I mean, this seems like it's a failure on the part of the Secret Service operationally, right, organizationally. And now this is going to have an effect on the campaign. I mean, it shouldn't you know, harm the political process that the Secret Service has been run by an incompetent who's good friends, by the way, with the Bidens. She's very close with Jill Biden and President Biden, which that's fine, but it's something about this I don't like. I don't like this, and maybe it's that she couldn't answer a question yesterday, but I don't like this outcome.
Yeah, and you know, Laura, you're spot on, because the organization is led by a leader, and we're seeing systematic breakdowns. Thank God she's gone. I wish her the best. But the Secret Service has a big job in front of it, because they have to reestablish trust with the American people. People need to know you can go to these rallies and be safe. And I think the confidence has been shaken.
Well,
the good news is the Secret Service, with the right leadership, they're going to get back to being the Secret Service they were, and that's going to be because they're going to be mission-focused leaders, not worried about personalities or quotas.
Congresswoman, we learned from the New York Times today, I also want to get Tim's quick view on this, that the counter-sniper's view, so our guy's view, was obstructed in part by a tree. Now, you can see it here in the video that they took at the site. Your reaction to that? I mean, it's another reason probably to have had somebody on that roof, as if you needed another reason. But again, this is kind of Mickey Mouse stuff that that you can kind of see after the fact. But why wasn't this done?
You know,
it's crazy.
Yeah, I do know that there are multiple sniper teams, but you are correct. From that very famous footage, you see the sniper team. It looks like they're hesitating, but they're not. They actually had their view obstructed. It was another team that took the shot. But again, going back to the fact that Butler County Emergency Service, Secret Service should have scouted that. They should have flagged that, and they intentionally did not show up to the briefing where the other snipers were at. So obviously, I feel personally, Laura, that there need to be people fired. She's not the only one that should have resigned, but absolutely. Yeah. And I'd be interested to hear the other gentleman's perspective on this as well.
Tim, would you allow the president to have ever taken that stage, knowing there was a person of interest, of suspicion, and you got the tree? Apparently, the trees are now a focus, and they didn't have a clear view of that roof.
Yeah, Laura, this is a cascading, error-filled event because remember that most of the security is planned before the protectee ever gets there. You, as a site agent, you walk every single foot of that. And the fact that one of the major obstacles, because all you have to do is stand at the podium and look, and you see a perfect sniper's nest. The problem is that they identified it, and we're going to see all this with the SOD reports and all the things coming out. But the reality, they didn't post it. If you notice that it's a big problem, you have to own it, is what we would call it. And that's not by having snipers.
Yeah, Tim, Congresswoman, both of you, thank you so much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.